Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, sir. It's audible.
Hello. Hello. Dr. Manish, whether I'm audible?
Yes, sir. It's audible.
Yeah. Okay. So I think there is some problem. So I have joined through the mobile also in order to communicate the audio. Any echo problem or any other type of the technical problem?
No, sir.
Hello, Dr. Manish.
Yes, sir. It's audible.
It's okay now.
Okay, okay.
Problem
No, sir. No.
now. It's okay.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay. So sorry for technical glitches here. And now I'm going to start again the session uh, in order to continue our lecture that is on the topic of the here the MATLAB in order to represent the signals and then to design the system, and after designing the system we will utilize the another rules regulations like the pipelining, parallel processing, timing, retiming, folding, unfolding in order to enhance the design algorithm here. As we have discussed in very first lecture that there are the different methods by which we can design the system, and we have also gone through the basic concepts of the MATLAB, and today on the basis of those concepts we will just describe here the this concept of the developing the here the signal is signal can be set to the variation of the physical quantity, energy, or any other parameter with respect to time, frequency, space, or any other variable or a set of the variables, and it conveys some specific information. So here we are going to describe the signal processing. What is the signal processing? It is the conversion from excitation to the response, or we can say a typical reason for signal processing is to eliminate or reduce an undesirable signal. So we convert the original signal into a form that is suitable for further processing. One fundamental representation of the signal is as function that is mathematically represented of at least one independent variable, or there may be more than variable, or there may be set of the variables here. A signal is physical quantity or the quality which conveys the information. Systems take the input and system operates on the inputs or the signals in order to extract that desired output. A system is a group of the related parts working together, or an ordered set of the ideas, method, or ways of the working. And as we know, if we are interested in order to define the system, then we can define the system according to the different views. For example, if we consider the implementation point of view, then we can define a system is an arrangement of the physical components connected or related in such a manner as to form and or act as an entire unit. In view of the signal processing perspectives, we can define it. A system can be viewed as any process that results in the transformation of the signals in which systems act on signals in prescribed ways. In mathematically, we can define a system as a mapping of the n input signals onto m output signals. The mapping carries out a transformation on the input signals according to a set of the rules. And graphically, we represent the signals in continuous for the continuous time signals in such a manner that the system operates on the input signals here according to the rules, regulations, or the arrangement of the components in order to get the desired output. And it is known as the continuous time system. The input and output signals are in the continuous time domain here. The discrete time system, the system operates on the discrete time input and in order to extract the discrete time output, and the discrete time system has discrete time input and the discrete time output here. Now the systems here, the continuous or the analog signals, discrete time, we can describe here the different types of the signals that are used for the purpose of the signal processing. They are the continuous or the analog signal, discrete time signals, basic analog signals, basic discrete signals, quantized signal, digital signals, causal signal, random signal, representation of the signals in MATLAB. We will discuss this one in the today's lecture here. And now suppose we consider here the continuous or the analog signal. Then in the continuous signal, here the sampling frequency, if continuous signal exists for the continuous time domain, and as we know, discretization of the signal is the result due to the sampling, and for the purpose of the sampling, there is a need of the selection of the sampling frequency or the sampling rate that is defined as the f naught is equal to 1 by t. And if we are interested in order to describe the discrete time signal with the help of the continuous time signal, and if the continuous time signal is the xt, then the same signal is discretized at t is equal to 0 plus minus kt, or k may be considered any integer here. Now, the graphical representation of the signal, say we represent the any analog signal mathematically, and then mathematically it is represented as the xs sine 2 pi fst plus pi s, where the xs is the amplitude, fs is the frequency in hertz, t is the time in seconds, phi s is phase in radian per second. Now, the same can be represented graphically in the MATLAB command, as we have discussed in the previous lecture, that we will utilize the command of the plot, or we can use here. So here the introduce here the different types of the text at different levels. We have in now here we have described that same function that here we have described the values of the amplitude, frequency, and here the phase, that is phi, and that starting time to the final time, including the here the time gap. And then we have used the plot command, that is the plot t comma x, and we have to return x on the x level, t y level, xs, and the title of this one is the function itself, which we have described, and then the grading takes place here. This is the function which we have represented here. Now, suppose we are interested in order to generate a basic signal, and that is the normally distributed white noise, and for that purpose we are using here the y is equal to sine 2 pi 52 plus 2 sine 2 pi 120t, and the time is from 0 to 1, having a step size of the 0.001. These were discussed in the first lecture, and we are just taking the examples of these signals, and now we can represent this signal in this one, that is the y is equal to this one, using the plot command here. And you can add normally distributed white noise to the signal and plot the first 50 points using the random numbers, that is the rand n state 0, and this is the result of this one here. after the addition of the noise here. Now suppose we are interested in order to generate the sawtooth signal. Then sawtooth generators, these are the different types of the signals that will be utilized in the signal processing. So in order to sawtooth, here we have to use the function sawtooth, and it generates a sawtooth wave with peaks at ±1 and a period of the 2 pi. An optional parameter specifies duty cycle. So here if we use the fs is described here, then we have used the sawtooth function only, and we have utilized the function, and that is the plot function here between the t and x. This is the graph here. Similarly, if we are interested in order to generate the square function here, then we have to use the square function here. Now suppose we are interested in order to generate here the Gaussian pulse, then in order to generate this one, we have the Gauss pulse function. We have to utilize the Gauss pulse function, and it will generate a Gaussian modulated sinusoidal pulse with a specified time and center frequency and fractional bandwidth and bandwidth reference level. That is the here this will be given as the BWR. Now this is the function which we have used here, that is the t is defined, and then we have to use the Gauss pulse. The Gauss, we are using here the Gauss pulse function. Similarly, we can use another function, that is the chirp. It generates a linear swept frequency cosine signal. Here we have described the time, and after that we have utilized the functions, that is the Gauss pulse or the chirp here, in order to generate the signals as per our requirement. In our in communication or in any field of the signal processing, control, whether it is the control, instrumentation, whatever is our field, in those fields there is a requirement of the different types of the signal, either to test the design signal or in order to process the some required for some required algorithm here. Now the pulse train function can be utilized in order to generate the pulse trains from either continuous or sample prototype pulses. This is the example related to the pulse train here. Now we have described the T, and then we have described the D, and on the basis of the T and D, we will describe the function pulse train T comma D. And Gaussian pulse will be utilized for this one, and then we will use here the plot command, plot between the T and Y having the green in color. So this is the graph that is plotted using the pulse train command or the pulse train function here. Now if we are interested in order to generate the sync function, then the sync function can be generated using the sync command here. That is, first we will describe the x, and then with the help of the x we will generate the sync function using the sync command or the sync function, and then we will use the plot x comma y. This is the result or return of this command, that is the plot x comma y related to the sync function here. Now if we are interested in order to generate the Dirichlet function, that is the here the this toolbox function computes the Dirichlet function. Sometimes it is also known as the periodic sync or aliased sync function. And as we know, mathematically Dirichlet function is defined by this mathematical relation, and the same is graphically represented here. And here what we are doing, we are just using the command, that is the Dirichlet here. Only we are using the Dirichlet command, and then we will get here the this result. Now some advanced MATLAB code, that is, if we are interested, again we are using the same sinusoidal signal here. This is the sinusoidal signal, that is the analog continuous signal. And now if we are interested in order to get the exponential signals here, then according to the mathematical relation, that is the x e to power bt, the same has to be described here mathematically. That is, first we have to define the function, then we have to define the different parameters. What is the value of the amplitude x, e, b, and what will be the range of the time, and then we can use either the plot command or we can use the fplot command. Here we have used the fplot command, and then what has to be written on the x level, y level, and what is the title required. We can enter this one in the command, and we can get here the result. Now suppose we are interested in order to generate the unit step signal, then again, as we described here the mathematically unit step function, the same function can be generated here by defining the function itself, and then defining the time range and here the gap, then using the fplot, and what has to be written on the X label, Y label, and what will be the title of the signal, and what will be the ranges of the axes here, that is the X minimum to X maximum, Y minimum to Y maximum here. These all concepts have been discussed in the first lecture during the basic discussion of the basic concepts of the MATLAB, but in this one we are just taking the examples related to those basic concepts here. Suppose we are interested in order to generate the pulse signal, then accordingly we have to define the what is the pulse signal, and then we will define the E time range of the T, and then again we utilize the fplot command, and again what has to be written on the X label, Y label, and what will should be the range of the axes. They will be entered using the different type of the function, and what must be the title that can be entered with the help of the function title here. Now see, this is the result of the pulse train here, and we can also include here the unit impulse. Now we are coming to the point of the causal signal here. As we know, the causal signals are the feasible signal, means they doesn't exist before the 0, that is the negative value or the discarded for this one. So if we have any ramp function, say this is the damp function here, damp sinusoidal function, and we are interested in order to generate the causal signal, then first we will generate this damp sinusoidal signal here. That's why we have described here the different constants, and that is the B, A, F, phi, and the T, and then we have described the function itself, that is the damp sinusoidal function, and now it will be multiplied by the unit step that exists for greater or equal to the 0 here. So we will after this one we will, and this is the element wise operation here, element wise multiplication, and now we will plot the here use the command plot that is between the X T and X, then T and U, T and X U, in order to represent the here the anti-causal, causal, and the unit step function, and all these three functions are represented here as we have described. Now, suppose we are interested in order to generate the here discrete time signals. Then discrete time signal, as we have described the analog signals, in the similar manner we can describe here the discrete time signal. And this discrete time signal here we have written the XSK, that is for the discrete values of the K here. This is the amplitude, sine 2 pi 1 upon ns is the period here, K is the sample index, and pi s is the phase in radian. Now this is the graphical representation of this mathematical relation as we know it, and now we can represent here the discrete exponential sequence in the similar manner as we have described for the continuous time or the continuous domain representation of the signal here. Now suppose we are interested to represent the unit step sequence. It is also the same as we have described the unit step signal or the in the continuous time domain, that we have to describe the values of the K ranging from K1 to K2, and there should be a gap between the K1 and K2, and then we will describe here use in order to draw the here the discrete time signals, we have to use the stem function here. Unit impulse sequence can also be generated here using the stem function, and now if we are interested in order to generate the causal sequence, then same in the similar manner and fashion we can generate the causal sequence function. That is the first we will describe here the unit sequence, then we will describe here the sinusoidally damped sequence, and then we will describe here the multiplication, that is the element wise multiplication of these two functions, and hence we will get the resultant one, that is the causal sequence sequences in MATLAB here. So these are very simple commands and simple here the methods that can be utilized in order to generate the different types of the test signals. And now if we are interested in order to generate the here the analog signal as well as the digital, both signals here, then we will describe the both signals, that is the analog signal will be described, then we will, in order to describe the discrete signal, we have to use the step function, and we are interested in order to generate it in the same plot. As we have discussed in the first lecture, that we can utilize here the hold on and the hold off command. So using the hold on and hold off command, we can generate the analog signal and the digital, that is the quantized signal here. Now suppose we are interested in order to generate the deterministic and the random signal, then the deterministic and random signal can also be generated here. We have described so many deterministic signal, and in order to generate the random signal, we can use the different types of the rand command, which we have described in the during the time of the discussion of the basic concept of the MATLAB. That is, we will describe here the RAND and its size K, and on the basis of this one, we will describe what will be the mean, what will be the standard deviation, and then we will use here the stem function in order to drag it. And then we will also utilize the hold on and hold off in order to plot the graph, and then here to index that here that what should be on the X level, what should be on the Y level, which type of the tick mark as is required on the Y axis or the X axis, and then we will enter here the title. So this is the total. These are according to these commands, we will get here the result. Similarly, if we are interested in order to generate the randomly distributed samples, then again we have to describe here the random sequence, mean, standard, and again using the same procedure and same manner, we can generate this one. That is using here the values of the K and X, then mean, standard deviation, hold on commands, hold off command, and then we have to utilize what has to be written on the X level, Y level, and what should be the legend, what should be the title, which type of the tick mark is required on the X axis or Y axis. We will enter the command here and we will get the result. So this is about the basic signals here. Now if we come to the another concept, that is the here we have utilized if we have generated the different types of the signals, and now for the purpose of the signal processing to operate on the signal. So we have covered here some concepts of the signals, and now we have to design some system that will operate on the signals in order to get the desired output. For that one, here we can use the different types of the here the toolboxes. And now suppose we use here the signal processing toolbox. Then signal processing toolbox provides the function and acts to analyze, pre-processing, and extract the features from the uniformly or non-uniformly sampled signals. The toolbox includes the tools for filter design and analysis, and there is another special toolbox that is known as the FDA tool for the purpose of the filter design and analysis. These are utilized for the resampling, smoothing, ending, and the power spectrum estimation here. Now you can also perform the model and the order analysis of the different types of the signals here. Now say the different sections of this one is the signal analysis and the visualization, and for the purpose of the signal analysis and its visualization purposes, the signal generation and pre-processing, measurements and the feature extraction, transforms, correlation and modeling, digital and analog filters for the purpose of the designing of the digital and analog filters, spectral analysis for the power spectrum, coherence windows, and time frequency analysis for the spectrogram, here the synchro spacing, and another purposes here related to the analysis and the vibration analysis, machine learning and the deep learning for the signals, and the code generation and the GPU support. So these are all different subsection of the signal processing toolbox that can be utilized for the different purposes, whichever is our field of the interest here. Now suppose we just consider one example, and we suppose we are using here the signal analyzer app in order to analyze the signal here. So first we will describe how the app workflow will take place. So a typical workflow for the inspecting and comparing signals using the signal analyzer app is first select the signals to analyze, then pre-process the signal, and after pre-processing explore the signals, share the signals, and then here we are just going to describe one example that we have taken a file that is related to the song of the file, and it is a file stored by a name of the here the file song, and we will here the recall this one, and then we will here the select the signals of this file, and pre-processing will take place. Then we will explore the signal, share the signal. Now see here some example. This example here, that is we have to extract the region of interest from the file song. So we will select the file here. The file is stored at a particular location and position. This will be here selected, and then we will open the signal analyzer and drag that timetable to a display. 4 features stand out from the noise. The here that see the 4 features. The first one is the trill, and the another 3 are the known as the modes here. Now on the display tab, click spectrum to open a spectrum view, and click the panel to activate the panel. Use the panel to create a zoom window with a width of about 2 seconds, and drag the zoom window so that it is centered on the trill. The spectrum shows a noticeable peak at around 900 Hz. So we are going to select the area of the interest of this file here. Now isolate the single trill by high pass filtering. Right click the signal in the signal table and select duplicate to create a copy of the file son, and then we will select here the pre-processing, and we will select the high pass filter. Set the pass band frequency to near about 925 Hz and the stop band attenuation of the 80 dB. Here this is the result of this one. And after this one, clear the display and select the original signal. Extract the 3 modes of the to compare the spectrum here, and now center the planar zoom window, and here we will select frequencies that is multiples of the 170 Hz, and then click the extract signal, and now click panel to hide the panel here, and press the space bar to see the full signal. Click zoom in X and zoom in on 2 seconds interval of the time view centered on the second mode. The spectrum again has peaks at multiple of the 170 Hz, and click extract signals here and select between the time limits here. Now press space bar to see the full signal. Click data cursor and select 2 and then place the time domain cursor in 2 seconds interval around the third mode, and again there are peaks at multiple of the 170 Hz, and then click extract signals and select between time cursor here. Now plot the high pass filtered signal and place the 2 data cursor at 1 second and 3.5 seconds. Extract the region containing the trill here, this one, and now remove the original signals from the display by clearing the checkbox text to its name in the signal table, and display the 3 regions of interest you just extracted. Their spectra lie approximately on top of each other here. On the same display, plot the region of the interest containing the trill that you extracted. The trill and moon spectra are noticeably different here. And now click on export on the analyzer tab to export the 4 region of interest in the MAT file. And after here we have exported the code, and that code can be utilized for the further processing here. Now, after describing this application, we are moving to the another here the approach, that is we are interested in to design the system. Now we will describe some aspects of the designing of the FIR and the IIR filter that can be utilized for the purpose of the signal analysis. Here the low pass FIR filter using the window method. Here create a signal to use in the example, and the signal is 100 Hz sine wave and in additive white Gaussian noise, and set the random number generator to the default state for the here the reproducible results. This is the command here that can be utilized. Now the filter design is an FIR low pass filter with the order equal to the 20 and the cutoff frequency of the 150 Hz. Use the Kaiser window and having the value of the beta is equal to 3 here. Now another command is FIR1. Use FIR1 to design the filter. FIR1 requires the normalized frequency is in the interval 0 to 1, where 1 corresponds to pi radian per samples here. Now see here the filter that has been designed here. Now suppose we utilize this filter for the purpose of the filtering here. So apply the filter to the signal and plot the result for the first 10 periods of the 100 Hz sinusoid. And if for that purpose we have to write the here this command, that is the filter will be applied here. That is we have to describe the numerator and denominator. along with this value of the x, and then plot value of this one, and here we will get the result here. That is the original signal is represented by the blue in color, and this is the orange is the filtered data here. Now filtering data with signal processing. Suppose we are interested in order to design the filter using the different approaches here. So we can design the same filter using the design field command here, and for that purpose, if we use the design field, see here we have utilized the command of the design field, and using the design field, this is the result that has been utilized in order to process the signal. And now we can compare the result of this filtered result with the previous result here. Now see, if we are interested in order to design the low pass FIR filter with the designer here, filter designer, then this example will show how to design and implement a low pass FIR filter using the window method with the interactive filter designer app. And here we have to start the app by entering the filter designer at the command line, and then we have to set the response type to the low pass, and set the design method to FIR, and select the window method, and you here the under the filter order we have to specify the order, and particularly in this case we have set the order is equal to 20, and then under frequency specification we have to select the units, that is the hertz, and the fs, that is sampling frequency 1000 hertz, and fc to 150 hertz. Now after these selections, now we will get the result here. This is the result here, and in this one we can utilize the analysis, that is the analysis of the filter. What will the pole zero plot, what will the amplitude response, what will be the phase response, and at the same time we can say amplitude and phase response both. We can see here the location and positions of the poles and zeros. We can get the values of the numerator and denominator. Even we can see here the architecture of the filter here. So for the purpose of this one here, we have to select the response type, means which response type is required, what design method has to be utilized, FIR or the IIR, then filter order, and then we have to select the here the what will be the options related to the windows. Here we have selected the Kagel window having the value of the beta is equal to 0.5. Then values of the fs is 1000 hertz, fc is 150 hertz. And now suppose we are interested in order to design the filter using the design filter. Then from the file we have, if we have designed this one and we are interested in order to export the command filter command here, then we will select the file and export, and then we will export this command to in order to utilize this design filter for another purposes of the applications here. Now suppose we are interested in order to design the FIR filter, and if we are interested in order to design the FIR filter and it is the low pass filter, then ideally the low pass filter is shown by this red line here. But this ideal filter cannot be designed because this requires the infinite precision, infinite word length here. So we can incorporate here the ripples either in the pass band, ripples in the stop band, and there should be a transition band in place of the sharp cutoff having no transition band. In practical filter there should be a transition band here. Now if we see, then we'll find there are the three parameters. One is the ripple in the pass band, ripple in the stop band, and transition band here. And this one is that is the this point is known as the pass band edge frequency, and this one is the stop band edge frequency. This value is the pass band ripple, that is the value of the ripple from the ear to ear is known as the pass band ripple, and this is the value of the stop band ripples here. Now if we see, then we can say in order to design the FIR filter or low pass filter, the three parameters are required. One is the pass band ripple, the second one is the stop band ripple, and the third one is the transition band. And if we are interested for the digital FIR filter, FIR low pass filter, then naturally there is a need of the FS sampling frequency. What must be the sampling frequency here? Now if we again see here, then we will find that these three parameters, that is the here the transition bit and the pass band and stop band ripples and the filter order, these may be considered as the three angle of a triangle. If we are trying to increase one value or decrease one value, then other two value will be affected by that one here. So on the basis of the selection optimum selection of these three parameters: what should be the filter order, what should be the transition band, ripples in the pass band, stop band ripples. There are a number of the filters that are used to design it. First, we will describe here the some aspects of the minimum order FIR filter. The minimum order designs are obtained by specifying the pass band and stop band frequencies, as well as a pass band ripple and stop band attenuation. The design algorithm then chooses the minimum filter length that complies with the specification here. Now, suppose we have taken example of the design a minimum order low pass FIR filter with a pass band ripple of this value, that is 0.37 pi radian per sample here, and the stop band frequency 0.43 pi radian per sample. Hence, the transition width equals the 0.06 pi radian per sample, and a pass band ripple of the 1 dB and the stop band attenuation of the 30 dB here. Now we will define these values here with the help of the MATLAB, and then we will use here the design field, and we will get here the result. This is the result of according to this requirement here. Now, in order to check what is the filter order, we can just write here the n is equal to field order, and we will get the order of the filter. Similarly, in order to get the another information about the filter, we will write here the info D, and we will get the all the information related to the this filter here. Now, that design field function chooses an equiripple design algorithm by default, and linear phase equiripple filters are desirable because of for a linear for a given order. This is the linear for the linear phase filter. If for a given order, they have the smallest possible maximum deviation from the ideal filter here. And this is the example, another example of that using the design field command here. We have designed this one. And again, we can see here what is the order that has been described in the previous PPT. Now, specifying the frequency parameters in hertz. Similarly, we can use here the design field command when we have described the here the frequencies in hertz. In the similar manner, we can design this one again using the here the frequencies in hertz here. Now, fixed order, fixed transition width. Fixed order designs are useful for applications that are sensitive to computational load or the impose a limit on the number of the filter coefficients. An option is to fix and the transition width at the expense of the control over the pass band here. For example, say we consider the 30th order low pass filter, and we will describe here the specification, and then we will use the design method that is the equiripple using the design field, and we will get here the result here. Now, if you want to reduce the energy of the signal as much as possible in the certain frequency band, then this equiripple filter is not suitable, because we know that there are the ripples in the pass band, there must be ripples in the stop band as well as in the pass band, and at the same time, if we are saying that ripples in the pass band or the stop band, it means there is a deviation, approximation in the pass band as well as in the stop band. And suppose we are interested in order to reduce this deviation, that is, we are interested to reduce the energy of the signal of the deviation as possible, as much as possible in the pass band as well as in the stop band, then this equiripple design method is not suitable. For that one, we have to select the least square method here. And here the least square, if we use the least square method, then this is the design of the equiripple, design with weighted stop band and without stop band. Now, if this is the result of the fixed order and the fixed cutoff frequency, and we can use different windows to control the stop band attenuation. Here, this is the stop band attenuation, and there are the different types of the windows that will be utilized in order to design the FIR filter, and they have the differences in this stop band attenuation. So, as per our requirement of the stop band attenuation, we can utilize the different types of the windows. For example, we are comparing here the two windows, that is the Hamming window as the Chebyshev window, in order to design the FIR filter here, and see the results of these two types of the filters. One have the advantage of the stop band attenuation, then at the same time it has the larger transition band, and vice versa is true for the second one here. Now, the fixed order and the fixed cutoff frequency, we can use the different windows to control the stop band attenuation while keeping the filter order unchanged here. Now, IIR filter, in order to design the IIR filter, we can use the approach here. First, we will design the filter in analog domain, then that analog filter will be transformed into the digital domain. And for that purpose, we can utilize the four methods here. That is the Butterworth filter, Chebyshev 1, Chebyshev 2, and elliptic filter. Butterworth filter has the flat response in pass band as well as in the stop band. Chebyshev 1 has here the maximally flat response in the here the Chebyshev 1 has the smaller transition width than the Butterworth, because in this one there are some ripples in the pass band. So as we are introducing the ripples, hence we are getting here the better transition band, that is the transition band becomes the smaller here. Now Butterworth and the Chebyshev have the comparison of this one. Now we are coming to the third one, that is the Chebyshev 2. It has the here the flat pass band but the equal ripples in the stop band here. And the elliptic filter, sometimes also known as the cover filter, it has the ripples in the pass band as well as in the stop band here. Now if we design these filters using the design field method, so we can see here the comparison of these filters. These are the four types of the filters, that is the Butterworth Chebyshev 1 type, Chebyshev 2, and the elliptic filter. And we can compare the performances of these filters on the basis of the pass band edge frequency, stop band edge frequency, ripples in the pass band, ripples in the stop band, and on the basis of the transition band here. Now, similarly, we can use the another type of the filters depending upon the another parameters here. Now, say we are interested so far we have described here the basic concept of the MATLAB, and we have described how these basic concepts will be utilized in order to represent the signals. And we have also here described some aspects, some concepts of the designing of the system using the MATLAB here. Now we are at the last stage, that is we are going to describe how the design filter or the system. Suppose we have designed any system and we are interested to enhance the performance of that system. So how the performance of that design system or the filter will be enhanced. In this one, we are just going to describe this concept, that is the enhancement of the algorithm after the designing and implementation of the desired system here. As we have discussed in the first lecture, that during the time of the designing, first we have to define the problem. So after the definition, we have to determine the parameters, and then we have to decide which type of the system has to be designed. And after the decision of this one, the derivation is required. And after the mathematical derivation, we have to select the design methods, and then we have to select the design criteria, that is the approximation. Then we will utilize any type of the language, prescriptive, descriptive, or the applicative language, or any type of the graphical representation, block diagram, signal flow graph, data flow graph, or dependence graph. These are not the specific method. Just we are describing here some approaches to design the filter or the system here. So these here the algorithms which we have selected or designed, now they will be downloaded on a given target, and this is the complete representation of the design and implementation of a system or the algorithm. Now suppose we have designed any system or the algorithm, then the next step is to introduce the efficiency in our design system as per our requirement here. So for the purpose of the designing of the efficient system or the effective system, here first we will analyze, design it, and then first of all we have to convert the coefficients as well as the signals into the quantized manner. Means quantization has to be take place. It means rounding and truncation takes place here. So during the time of the designing, in the process of the quantization, we have to quantize the input, output, coefficients, multiplicand, product, and sum. And for that purpose, we have to select the mode, round mode, overflow mode, and data format here. And we have also described that in the mode, we have to select which type of the mode has to be selected, whether the fixed mode, float mode, double mode, or single mode. If we have to use the fixed mode, means fixed number system, float mode means floating number system, but user defined. Single and double, these are the floating number system having the single precision and the double precision that follows the IEEE 754 standard here. Similarly, for the round mode, here the seal, convergent, fixed, floor, and rounding has to be utilized for the purpose of the quantization. And we have also gone through all the concepts related to the quantization in the previous lecture. Now, in the overflow mode, we have to select the saturation and the either the saturation or the rep, and then the data format. We have to use the two types of the number system. One is the fixed number system, another is the floating number system. In the fixed number system, if the total word length is the capital N, then we have to describe what is the total word length, that is the capital N, and what are the numbers that will be utilized for the integer here. The N and is small, and similarly in the here the floating point, we have to use the total number of the word length, that is the capital N, and then we have to describe what will be the number of the bits that will be utilized for the exponent here. And suppose we have utilized this one. Now we are coming to the another point. Yeah. After this one, we have to select, that is if we describe any mathematical equation or the algorithm in discrete time signal or the digital signal processing, then we will find this is the discrete time general model, that is known as the ARMA model, auto-regressive moving heuristic model. Now, if we see this model here, then we will find we have to use the addition, multiplication, and here the storing of the energy in order to implement this algorithm here. First of all, we have to see what is the enhancement possible in the addition here. So for the purpose of the enhancement in the addition, if we see here the binary addition process, then we'll find there is carry propagation and its generation. And on the basis of the carry propagation and generation, we can develop here the adder, 2-bit full adder, and this is a 2-bit full adder that is utilized for the purpose of the number of the additions here, number of the bits for the purpose of the addition. And if we utilize this full adder here for the purpose of the addition here, then there is some carry propagation chain, and it is very fast. And in order to enhance the performance of the addition, we can use here the adder based on the multiplexer because it will have some better performance in comparison with the previous one here. But whatever is the type of the adder here, that will be known as the ripple carry adder, and the total addition time that is required is n-1 multiplied by the whatever is the time execution time for the carry, and then whatever is the time of that summation here. So it will take some times in order to get the final result, and carry will generate from the LSB to MSB. And there are another methods like the inversion property can be introduced here in order to enhance the performance, and then we can use the ripple carry adder here using based on the multiplexer, and multiplexer enhances the performance, and hence we can say the critical path is reduced here. So Dr. Suman Kumar Mitra ji, Dr. Suman Mitra ji,
हाँ सर,
am I audible?
Yes sir, you are audible sir.
Hello, Dr. Manish, Dr. Suman Kumar Mitra. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Hello, whether I'm audible? Okay.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Hello. Audible. But people are not responding. Voice is not okay. So I think there is a need of break. No, break is before. Okay. No, no. Okay. So and after this one, we come to the another method that enhances the here the addition process. This is the this is known as the Manchester carry chain, and Manchester carry chain using the CMOS enhances the performance of the addition, and we can use the different block adders, that is the variable block adders, in order to enhance the performances. And there are another method like the carry look ahead adder, carry save adder, and carry completion adder. And if we compare the performance of those adders, then we will find here the speed is better, but the carry propagation takes place. So another method is to eliminate the carry here. Carry generation is eliminated. And if we have eliminated the carry generation here, then what will happen? There is no question of the carry propagation. And for that purpose, we can utilize the here the concept of the redundancy. And the new number system that is known as the redundant binary number system can be utilized in order to enhance the performance of the system. If we utilize the redundant binary number system, then it has the three set here, that is the -1, 3-bit, -1, 0, and 1. And if there is a negative number, it means there is no question of the generation of the carry. And if there is no generation of the carry, means no propagation of the carry, and hence we will get a very here the nice result in this one. But the drawback is during the time of the generation of the -1, 0, and 1, we have to utilize the 2-bit. So area will be larger here. As we have described in the very first lecture in the beginning of the starting of the webinar, that for the analysis of the performance of the any system, we have to here analyze the 4 parameters of any digital signal processing system, like what is the area, what is the speed, what is the power consumption, and what is the finite word length effect. So here in this case, that is the redundant binary sign digit number case, we are getting the better result, that is the speed is larger. We are getting the speed of algorithm here, but at the cost of the larger area. So again, in order to optimize our algorithm, we can hybridize these two concepts, that is the traditional number system, that is binary number system, along with the RBSD, redundant binary number system, and that will be known as the hybrid sign digit number system. And here if we see, we can see the RBSD has very much better performance in comparison with the triple carry adder or the carry completion or the carry save adder, but the area is larger here. So here we have described how the RBSD number system will be generated. Now if we utilize here the hybrid sign digit number system, then we will get the optimum result in the case of the hybrid number system in comparison with the sign digit, triple carry, carry stone and Kong adder, or the carry save adder, or the RBSD, redundant binary sign digit adder. So here we can utilize the another approaches also in order to enhance the performance of our system. So what we have discussed here, we have discussed that first of all, we have to develop the algorithm. Then on the basis of the requirements, we have to describe our algorithm. And then if we are interested for the behavioral model, then here the functional model will be described by mathematical formulation, and behavioral or architectural model of this one will be described either by the graphical representation or by the some languages like the prescriptive, descriptive, and applicative languages. And graphical representation, that is the block diagram, signal flow graph, and the data flow graph, and the dependence graph. Here the data flow graph will describe the one iteration of any algorithm, and dependence graph will describe the complete algorithm here. Now signal flow graph will describe the flow of the signal, and the block diagram will describe the hardware, here the architecture of the algorithm here. Now if we are interested in order to enhance the performance of any system, then it is better to prefer the graphical representation. And for example, we use the data flow graph, then it describes the one iteration. And for one iteration, what is the critical path? Now, in order to enhance the performance of the algorithm, we can reduce that critical path using the different concepts like the pipelining, parallel processing, folding, unfolding, etc. here. So what we have discussed so far, we have discussed what is the basic concept of the designing and implementation of the system, and then we have discussed the basic concepts of the MATLAB. Then we have utilized the MATLAB to generate the signals, and also we have discussed how the systems will be designed using the MATLAB system. And for example, we have taken the filter as a system, and then we have also described here how the addition here the different types of the adders can be introduced in order to enhance the performance of the addition. And for that purpose, we have utilized here the different types of the adders, like the here the ripple carry adder, carry loop ahead adder, or the here the this carry completion adder, carry save adder, here Cog-Stone adder. And then we have utilized a new concept, that is the new number system can be utilized, that is named as the RBSD, redundant binary sign digit number system. And we have also concluded that it has a better performance, but at the same time the larger area or the on the silicon wafer or the larger memory space is required. So there is a need of the hybridization, and for the purpose of the hybridization, we have achieved a HSD, hybrid sign digit number system. And now if we use the HSD, then we will get here the optimum result. Now suppose we are using this optimum result and utilizing the concept of the addition using the HSD, then we are again interested to enhance the performance of the system. Now we will work on the algorithm, and that algorithm or that architecture will be represented by the signal flow here the data flow graph. And if we have represented one iteration using the data flow graph, then we will try to reduce the critical path length of that algorithm here for that particular iteration here. Now see here, suppose we consider here that we are just describing what is the data flow graph, etc. here. Now suppose we are interested in order to reduce the critical path length of a filter which we have designed using the MATLAB. Suppose we have designed any filter, that is filter is the 3-type FIR filter, and we are interested in order to reduce the critical path length. What is the critical path length? That is the maximum time between the input and output of the system, or between input and one energy storing element, or one energy storing element to another energy storing element, or energy storing element to the output, but having the maximum critical path, means maximum execution time. So here if we see, then what is the maximum execution time between the input to output? That is the execution time of the 1 multiplier and the 2 adder. So critical path length is the 1 multiply and the 2 add here. And now if we consider, if we are interested for the sampling time period of this one, so what must be the sampling time period of this one? Whatever is the execution time period of time of the 1 multiplier plus 2 adder, it must be T sampling must be greater or equal to this one, or we can say the sampling rate should be less or equal to 1 upon Tm plus twice of the Ta here. Now what is the pipelining? In the pipelining, what we will do, in the critical path we just introduce a delay or the energy storing device. Now if we suppose this is a critical path here and we have introduced one delay here, then what will happen? In this case the critical path length is the 2 times of the Ta, or the 2 adder, so time execution time is required. Now if we add here the one delay here, then this is the concept is known as the pipelining. And what will the critical path length? That will become 1 adder time here. And in parallel processing, we have in this one we are using we are processing one sequence here, but here we are using the 2 sequences at the time. So single input single output system will be converted in the multiple input multiple output system in the case of the parallel processing here. Now we can combine these two, that is the pipelining and parallel processing, in order to get the better result. Where the energy storing devices will be introduced. In order to introduce the energy storing devices, we will use the feed forward cut set algorithm. And feed forward cut set algorithm will be applied on only those branches which are moving forward here. So here if we have decided the location and position of the here the position where we have to introduce the latches or the energy storing devices, then we will introduce them, and hence we can reduce the critical path length. And if we are using the M level of the pipelining, naturally the speed will be enhanced by the M times here. Now this is the example which represents what will be the feed forward in this one. The propagation delay of any CMOS circuit, may be described by this one. That is what is the value of the C charge of that CMOS, and what is the voltage supply, and VO minus VT. VT threshold voltage, its whole square multiplied by K on the denominator terms. And similarly, we can calculate here the power consumption. Now, if we see the example of the pipelining here, suppose we apply here the pipelining, then after applying the pipelining in 3-type FIR filter, if we put here the values of the TM multipliers, multiplication execution time is 10 nanoseconds or 10 units, for the addition 2 nanoseconds or 2 units, and CM is given by the 5 times of the CA. Here we are using the CM and CA for the same multiplier, because the multiplier itself has been pipelined. When we include the pipelining in the multiplier itself, then it is known as the fine grain pipelining here. So here, if we put all the values and calculate the result, then we will find that there is a enhancement in the power consumption, and that near about the 36.4% power saving takes place here. Now, here what we have described that in this one, that is, we have described what is the designing concepts. Then we have designed the 3-type FIR filter, and this is the 3-type FIR filter. Then we have apply here the cut set algorithm in order to introduce the here the latches, and after introducing the latches, we have reduced the critical path length. And after the here the suppose we have introduced the delay here, and after this one, if the multiplier, that is this one, again in the multiplier itself, if we apply here the pipelining, then this type of the pipelining will be known as the 5-grain pipelining. These are the some examples related to that one. And in parallel processing, in place of the here the single input, single output will be converted into the multiple input, multiple output. So, for example, say this is the 3-type FIR filter. There is a concept of the transposition, and if we apply the transposition, then we will get here the data broadcast architecture. That now the data are available to each and every branch at the same time. In this case, what is the critical path length? The critical path length is the TM plus twice TA. But if we use the data broadcast, then this becomes the TM plus TA only here. So applying the getting the data broadcast structure, we have reduced the critical path length in this one. Now, if we apply that 3-level parallel processing, then after applying the 3-level parallel processing, here the K will be replaced by the 3K. We will get this architecture here. Now the total enhanced in the speed will be 3 times. So this is the 3 times enhancement in the algorithm after applying the parallel processing. Similarly, we can use the unfolding concept, and unfolding is a transformation technique to create a new program describing more than one iteration of the original program here. And this is the method of unfolding, which has been used in order to convert this here the data flow graph into this form here. And unfolding is a graph-based technique for directly unfolding the DFG to create the J unfolded DFG here. Now, these are the examples for the 4 level of the unfolding. And now, in suppose we have designed any algorithm, and we have also reduced the critical path length, then again the efforts towards developing the algorithms for the efficient implementation of the FIR filter on the ASIC and FPGA can be applied here. And for that purpose, as we know in the DSP, there is a concept of the convolution, and that is based on the multiplication. So we can utilize the another different algorithms to reduce to enhance the performance here. For example, we can use the multiple constant multiplication, that is the MCM approach here, or we can use a numerical transformation technique for reducing the complexity for the computation, and these transformations rely upon the sub-expression elimination to restructure the computation. And if the sub-expressions are eliminated, naturally it requires the complexity will be lower and the low area is required here. Common sub-expression elimination method to optimize the cost of the multiplication, and for further elimination in the redundancy, here we can use the MITM, that is the modified iteration meshed algorithm that efficiently performs a bitwise mesh and then uses the pattern corresponding to the best mesh here. MCM and MITM both can be hybridized for using the basic binary number representation and canonical sign digit number representation, and hence these are the different concepts which can be utilized in order to enhance the performance of our designed system here. This is the approach of the CSD which we have described, and these are the some comparative results here. Now we are coming to the point that what is the purpose of this one? Why we are conducting the FDPs and webinar? Naturally, our purpose is the behavior modification cycle, and during the time of the behavior modification cycle, we have to consider the different stimulus from the society. We have to perceive it, store it, so that we can retrieve it at the time of the requirement, and then we can perform as per our requirement. And whatever is the output, that has to be analyzed whether it is as per a requirement or not. If not, then there is a need of the reinforce, and for that purposes attention is required, and attention requires the motivation, internal or external, that depends upon the basic needs. And these if we are following this one, this can be done either having the four sub methods here, like that. Here the monologue, dialogue, that is the monologue, teaching, demonstration, and dialogue, that is the case study, tutorial, etc. Here action, project work, and then the practical task for the transferring the knowledge from the teacher center to the student center here. And naturally, when we take the lectures, then learning enhanced by 5%, reading 10%, audio visual 20, demonstration 30, group discussion 30, and practice by doing 75%, and teaching to others by the 90%. So this is about the the discussion what we have covered in our 2 days webinar, and in this one we tried to discuss with you basically whatever we are discussing. The purpose of this one is learning. When we discuss with anybody, then basically we learn it in order to modify our behavior and our knowledge here. In this discussion, we have discussed the basic concept of the designing. Then we have also discussed the basic concept of the MATLAB. Then how the MATLAB will be utilized in order to design a system. And then also we have discussed how the design system can be enhanced as per our requirements. So thank you all for being with us, and organizers has given me a signal that the time has been over. So I am very thankful to you people who have participated to attend the webinar, and who have basically motivated us to organize this program. So thanks to all respected sirs, madams, all supporters, students, researchers who have participated in this webinar, or who had supported directly or indirectly to organize these lectures and the webinars. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sir.
Thank you, Professor Krishnaraj. Thank you, Professor Krishnaraj, sir, for your nice lecture. Am I audible, sir?